the MFTE discussion. I'm not quite sure what to do with this information, but I'm just going to give you the information, the recommendation from the Finance Committee regarding the MFTE. There was not consensus to eliminate the 8-year MFTE break. And so there's also not consensus to modify the 12-year. What there is consensus on is the item where we update the 12-year with the application to extend to the 20-year in line with legislature. And then another thing on the table is the items for the displacement compensation and the unit mix. What we did have is a desire to have like a public hearing and also to hear from all sides, developers, etc. So I'm not quite sure what to do with that information, where we move with that, but I'm giving you that information. That's the recommendation from the Finance Committee. Whether or not this is a dead issue, I'm not sure, but there are some good components to the MFTE proposal that we would like to see. With that, I do want to ask, what direction do we want to take with that recommendation?
Anna?
Shoot, I think it was back in June that I was suggesting that we adopt those elements of the proposed MFTE that had gained consensus of the council, which is the displacement. Shoot, I laid them all out in a memo. But Jennifer, do you have that at the tip of your tongue?
Well, with a caveat, the caveat is the recommendation from the Finance Committee regarding displacement compensation and unit mix is that we hear from landlords, tenants, developers, etc. So it's not as clear cut as you might think.
Okay,
I do have that email that you sent, yes.
Okay, so there was clear, and on the slideshow that Director Andrea Spencer sent us at least twice, she had marked those 3 or 4 items on which we were all in consensus. I feel like these are really small baby steps, and especially the displacement, and that council should consider those items and at least get them inside the code, and then we can tackle everything else. I feel that I would put down a whole $1, and since I usually bet in nickel increments, but I'm going to put down a whole $1 as a bet that what developers will tell us is that it does not pencil out. What landlords will tell us, I don't clearly see the relevance, and what tenants would have to say, that would of course be interesting to hear, especially displaced tenants. But right. That delaying these 3 or 4 items on which we're already in consensus, it's just doing a disservice to the people who live here, who are scraping by, who are facing food inflation of about 20%. And I see Director Spencer's hand is up, and okay, I'm not even going to make a bet. I am certain that Director Spencer has all of this at her fingertips. So I will stop talking. Thank you all.
All right, Andrea, do you want to speak?
Just doing a mic check. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. I was just going to add is that just those 2 amendments that you identified, one is state law changes. There's nothing that we can get input on. It was just changes to the state, and the administrative changes that we were talking about for development displacement. Developers have been doing it. We've been asking them to do it. We've just made an interpretation, and nobody's argued with us. We've gotten 0 pushback from how we've implemented the program. So when we develop the code amendments, it's exactly how we've been administering it. And we've gotten no feedback about, no, I don't want to do that. So I don't think it's real controversial. I mean, it'll take us some time just because we have other initiatives right now, but we can bring that forward later in the fall for council's consideration. So we could scope the ordinance to just be those two tickets of two topic areas of changes and nothing else. And obviously advertise like we always do. So those are easy changes to wrap into the ordinance.
All right, thank you, Denise.
That certainly simplifies it for me, Andrea. Thank you for that re-explanation. I just want to state that the reason that developers and landlords should be involved in the conversation is because they own the property and have rights. We want to make sure that we have low-income housing, that we have affordable housing. We are all committed to that. But with the MFTE, you know, Anna can bet all she wants to. I've seen the spreadsheets. You know, I believe in the MFTE and certainly want to include displacement costs as a service for the tenant. I think that's really appropriate and something that we should support. And if the mayor has to include it in his budget.
Oh. All right. Give it another second or two here. All right, we can go back to Denise. Although
We have not obviously come to
Denise.
consensus on this. Yeah,
Denise, we lost a good 30
Oh.
seconds.
sorry.
Uh,
I'm just saying that we've got consensus on the things that Andrea was mentioning, highlighting. But let's not assume, in fact, we've just proven there is not consensus on other changes to MFTEs. So I am fully supportive of a resolution putting forth these two aspects. And look forward to other conversations where people say the same things over and over again. But my position has not changed. Thanks.
Eric.
First of all, thank you, Jennifer, for bringing it up during finance and sharing it with the rest of the council. So it sounds like now it's been conveyed to the administration, and Director Spencer is going to put those first two items on there. So I just want to say we need to be careful about, I mean, you can always say I'm for this, but I prefer to say I'm open to listening about it because I want public input, and I know we all do. So I'm just asking that we kind of keep that in mind because that's what we're supposed to do. And I know that's what we all want to do. So again, thank you, Jennifer, for bringing that up. And I'm not sure if you're done with your committee report. So back to you.
I think that just about covers it. I wanted to get kind of like, mainly I did want to hear from administration to find out if they could take our requests forward. Sounds like there's, sounds like council is wanting those couple aspects to go forward too. And again, I really appreciate the idea of getting feedback and having a public hearing. And so I do appreciate that reminder too, Eric. That's it for my council report. Thank you.